Welcome back, everyone. Gun control or non-regulations of guns. I'm an independent liberal. If you look on the political spectrum, you'll see left, right, and then there's conservative and liberal. I'm more left-leaning liberal. Not all the way left. And I did the political compass test. I do have a video on that, so you can go and look at that if you want. But I fall almost in the center. But I'm close to the center, but not quite there. So I'm considered an independent liberal. And what liberal mean? And the where you get libertarian is that's a liberal that's right leaning. A lot of Democrats are actually right leaning. Usually liberals are for less control. They're more for freedoms. So I'm kind of torn on the gun control thing. So I kind of have a little bit of both sides. And I can share that with you. And let me add out there to the the advocates of guns, and to the anti-advocates of guns. Before you start clicking the unsubscribe button or the downvote button, listen to both sides of my arguments, because I do have, I'm kind of a pendulum on this one. Because I'm kind of torn. First of all, I could look at it from this perspective, in kind of an anti-gun kind of way. The Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, was originally created because the government, the founding fathers of our country, wanted us to have the ability to create a militia so that if we ever needed to revolt against our government because they were becoming too big, or they wanted to create an establishment that was based on something like communism or a dictatorial faction, that we as the citizens had the ability to form a militia, rise up, make a civil war, and stand up to our government and say, no, we're not going to do that. If you think the guns that are sold over the counter to you, or the guns that are sold on the black market, are anything that can compete with the military that the government has under their arms, you are mistaken. The things that you can buy on the black market, the things that you can buy over the counter, they are no match for what the government can do to you. So the Second Amendment is kind of laughable at best, because it's not really applicable today. If you still have the right today to form a militia against the government and say, I don't stand for what you stand for, and I think you should be overthrown. That is your right as an American citizen. However, I find that these days, violence isn't really the answer, but there's a new form of warfare out there. It's called digital warfare. This, what we do on social media, is a form of digital warfare. It's a type of activism. I would fall under the category of anti-political correctness or anti-PC culture neoliberalism. Neoliberalism is very authoritarian and very controlling, and I, as a liberal, I'm against control. So the Second Amendment, I don't really know that you can keep using the Second Amendment as an argument to keep weapons, like guns. I don't know that you can. The right to use the weapons to form a militia is not really very effective, because the government could just push a button and wipe you out. I mean the weaponry that they have a bomb. There's a new bomb. Actually, it's not even new anymore. Back when I saw the documentary of them developing this bomb, it's not even a secret. You can go and look it up yourself. There's a bomb that blasts what is it? It's an electronic discharge that blasts in a 30-mile radius that deactivates any electronic device. Think of the cloud servers that are out there. Think about how many movies you have on a cloud server. Think about how many pictures you have on a cloud server. Music, videos, YouTube is a cloud. And this bomb could wipe that out. Every electronic device within a 30-mile radius just gone. You don't think that would do a lot of damage, but it would do a lot more damage than you probably... No refrigerators, no microwaves, no electronic stoves, anything operated by electricity, out. So I don't think your guns that you buy over in the regular market or even on the black market are compatible with... I don't think you'd stand a chance against the military. I think you'd be fucked. So there's that. There's also, on the anti-gun side, there's also looking into other countries before the Syrian refugees came over. Looking at, like, Australia and the UK, countries that have really strict gun laws, if not have made guns illegal to possess. Their crime rates before the Syrian refugees started coming over, their crime rates were significantly lower than the United States. Significantly. Like, crazy lower. Like, whoa, what are we doing? We are fucking up. Because, like, I saw a statistic before the Syrian refugees. Germany only had 50 murders in 1 year. Whereas America was at like 20,000. Some of these countries, their murder rates are like a couple hundred. We're in the thousands. We're thousands and thousands. And I'm not saying that's because of the gun laws, but there does seem to be a high correlation. And I have to stress that word correlation. If you do not know what correlation means, please look it up. Because it doesn't mean exact. It means there's a coincidence here. That's pretty much what a correlation is. It means there's a coincidence. It seems whenever you restrict gun rights or take away guns, the crime rate really seems to plummet. So at that point, it's a theory, which would be a really hard theory to test. So we can't say definitively. We can't. And hold on, I do have some pro-gun arguments to make too. So don't turn away just yet. I'm just doing the anti ones right now as a liberal. So there is that concept. And people would argue those statistics, the pro-gun people would argue those statistics that they're incorrect. So that's debatable, and it's hard to say whose statistics are more correct than the others because they both come from really sound kind of backgrounds. Okay, so I personally don't own a gun. And I'm still on the anti side right now. I don't own a gun. And it's not because I'm afraid I would knock too many people off. It's because I had a gun once. I found it urban exploring. It was a German revolver that it was a 1950s one. It actually was kind of an antique. Its serial number was literally like 4 digits long. Seriously, I'm not joking. And I found bullets with it too. It had like it came in a little satchel. I found a lot of antiques in there, but I have depression. And I had a really bad depressive episode that lasted about a couple weeks. I put a bullet in, it was a revolver, I put a bullet in one of the chambers and I turned the barrel to where it was, this notch was empty, like on the hammer, the next notch was empty, and the next notch had a bullet. I took the gun and I stuck it in my mouth. And I closed my eyes and I pulled the trigger. And I just listened to the hammer hit the empty slot and echoed in my head. And I imagined what it would be like if I just pulled the trigger one more time. And I found an exit. That's when I decided I didn't need to own a gun. And really, I'm not that paranoid. I feel like some people, they have these crazy guns, and it makes me wonder, what are you so paranoid about? Why do you need a gun like that? Like, what do you think you need so much self-defense over? What are you defending yourself from? What's posing such a threat to you? And if something is that much of a threat to you, why aren't we doing something about it? That's my thought process on that. So we all kind of we get a little sad. We've all, whether you have depression or not, I'd be willing to bet the majority of people out there have had a suicidal thought at one point in their life. So that's some anti-gun stuff. But the liberal in me starts saying, but you're taking away people's freedom. It's still a right. It's still a freedom. Is that something I want to take away? I don't really want to infringe on people's rights. I don't really want to take freedoms away from people. That kind of sucks. Another aspect that I look at is when you do look at the Syrian refugee problem, where you have homosexuals and women being harassed and raped and people being stabbed in the street and buildings being bombed and all kinds of violent activity. And then I think we've had a few things here in the United States, nowhere near the amount that the UK has been experiencing, nowhere near. And that could be because we have an ocean between us, and they don't. However, can you imagine somebody patrolling the streets trying to enforce global Sharia and global Islam on a group of gang members, trying to sell drugs and drinking alcohol and doing things that aren't okay in their religion? Can you imagine one of them going up and trying to tell a member of MS-13 or the Crips or the Bloods or any other kind of gang out there to stop doing that global Sharia, global Islam? Do you really think they'll hesitate to pull out a weapon and shoot them in the head? They're usually pretty indiscriminatory about it. It's best just to stay out of their business. That's what I say. If you live in a big city, you know that. Oh, don't stay out of that business. I've seen enough crazy. I don't need to see any more. I don't agree with violence. I want nothing to do with it. But, you know, if you have civilians packing heat in the United States, these people come over here and they start trying to stab a homosexual in the street. Bam! They have more of a threat over here because we do have guns. We're more of a threat on a civilian level, not just on a government level, on a civilian level. We're more a threat. And I think Americans in general have a bad attitude. I think the UK perpetuates the idea of being cordial and having civility and being polite. Here in the United States, it's fuck, shit, fuck, shit, fuck. That means I want a pizza, motherfucker. We have attitudes over here. We fight. We're kind of an aggressive society. So I think, in essence, that almost kind of protects us from some of the outside naysayers. So in that sense, I can see keeping guns legal because it's keeping us safe not from internal threats, but external threats. And the whole blacklist thing. Oh, hold on. Let me not go to the blacklist thing yet. Let me go over some more pro-gun stuff. There is a group in the pro-gun rally that a lot of people overlook, and it's really quite sad. There's a lot of people that want to keep their guns because they like catching their own food. They're hunters. And they're like, man, we just want to hunt. It's that group in the back of the NRA that nobody pays attention to, saying, dude, we don't feel threatened. We don't feel like somebody's going to come in and rob us. We just want to hunt. We want game. And that's a natural thing. I mean, how can you say no to that? It's like, well, we are meat eaters. We're omnivorous. So yeah, I can see that. A lot of people sadly overlook that. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with wanting to hunt your own food with a gun. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Now to the neutral ground. So I don't really want to take the rights away. I don't really think that we should take freedoms away. I don't like that idea. However, I can't ignore the fact that there is a high correlation between crime and guns. And yes, if you make them illegal, you can still buy them on the black market. Okay, yeah, that's true. That's another pro one, is that by making it illegal, you're just going to open a black market for it. And that's unfortunate. The truth of the matter is that we've looked at other societies that have taken guns out and the crime rates have dropped. But here's the way that I look at it. There's been people that have talked about the blacklist. If you've been blacklisted, you can't purchase a weapon. Well, I think there should be some gun control. I don't think that they should be taken away, but I think there should be some control, some limitations. There's been some guns out there that I've seen that people can buy on the open market. Buying on the black market would be a different story. Like it would be illegal in all kinds of essence, but you got to realize at one point that some guns are just meant to kill people. They're just meant to kill people. And unfortunately, that's the truth. But I do think that there should be a background check. I think there are people with mental illnesses out there, people that are mentally unstable. People like myself should not have the ability to own a gun. And I'm putting myself on that list because, like I said, I came this close. That's not healthy. I don't need to have a gun. I don't need one. I don't feel threatened. I don't think that I'm in danger. I'm fine. I'm in more danger owning a gun. A danger to myself. And other people like me, they need to be on that list too. You don't think about how selfish suicide is until you've experienced loss. And I experienced a death in my family, and I realized that if I committed suicide, it's not the person who dies that has it rough. The lucky ones are the ones that don't have to say goodbye. You don't get to experience that pain of loss. And that's something that I just don't want to put my family through. That's selfish. I'm not going to hold my emotions to a higher standard than someone else's. That's not fair. It's not the right thing to do. So anyway, let me know what you think. And I want to see some good debate here. I was talking with somebody, and I said I would mention this in the video. They corrected me on a grammar. Students does not need an apostrophe. Thank you so much for pointing that out, Jesus Christ. I really do appreciate that. Debate can be civil. It can be. And I want to see a civil debate. Let's show these fucking SJWs what civil debate looks like. Let's show them a liberal, myself a liberal, talking about guns. Let's see a pro-gun advocate come out and let's talk about these issues openly without being at each other's throats. We may even come to a point of saying, let's agree to disagree. So that's what I have for you. Let me know in the comment section below. Like, share, subscribe. Hit the bell button on any channel you're subscribed to. And with that, I'm out.